And here we are. Okay, we might as well just jump into this. Leaked last night. Well, early last night, it was leaked. Someone leaked the opinion of the Supreme Court on the Roe versus Wade, and it's not very good.
It's an
It
understatement.
it appears that they are um, inclined to overturn Roe versus Wade because reasons, and we'll get into those reasons and how it affects everyone uh, today in this discussion. Now, what I understand is one of the reasons is the Constitution of the United States does not include abortion in its origin, so therefore it shouldn't be considered.
Neither is privacy, for that matter.
Neither is interracial marriages or
Mhm.
LGBT same sex marriages or any of those wonderful rights and privileges that we have gotten over the years.
Which is the whole problem with this, how he's written this, in my opinion. You know, it opens up all these other things.
Now, Sammy brought up a good point. She basically said, "Well, you ask him the question you asked me."
Mm.
Oh, I asked about, isn't this just the first draft, and they're going to come up with a couple of different negotiations and varies of this until June when the vote is up?
Yeah, yep. But from what I've been hearing from a few different news things, is yes, this is a first draft, but the outcome is the same. You know, potato type of situation. It's this is where they're going. And I've noticed that the only fight from the other side is they're pissed about the leak. Period. The leak is
Right.
what's
Yeah, that
bothering
seems to be
them.
everybody's concern.
Um, but yeah,
Okay, sir. I just sent that to you.
I thank you
Everything
very
should be
much.
good. Oh my God, you're sideways. That's cool. Um, yeah. What I'm a little miffed about is they're saying they're going to leave it to the states, but if memory serves me, about 32 of the states already have some sort of anti-abortion law on the books or in the works. So if that's the case, leaving it to the states means you're basically dissolving the right to govern your own body. Holy shit, Matt's here twice.
That's funny.
Oh, you're gone. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. And my concern is it's not just setting back women's reproductive rights and everyone. And I've been watching all the feeds lately, and I've been seeing that people saying, "Well, you're a man, you don't have the right to have an opinion." Well,
Yeah, we're not allowed to have a right to an opinion either.
fuck you because I may be a man, but I'm also a dad. I'm also a husband or a boyfriend or whatever. Why is Matt back? Okay,
I'm here.
that's interesting. You're here twice.
That's so odd. I completely closed it.
I'll get rid of it. Relax.
Okay. There we go. Thank you. Sorry.
I
Continue.
hope this doesn't hurt you.
What's that?
Okay, good. I just kicked the other one.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm here.
Okay. I didn't know if it would affect, what it would affect. Um, as I was saying, I've seen a lot in the comments, in live streams and in newscast comments, the comment sections, that me and you don't have the right to have an opinion because we're men.
I don't
And
necessarily disagree with that.
I said that's bullshit. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a boyfriend. I'm a grandparent. I have as much right as anyone.
Right, but think about what you're making a decision on. As far as that, I think maybe you have a right to a discussion with your partner. But I think as far as a medical procedure of what's going to happen, I don't have. That's not me. I mean, we can
No.
have a discussion between that, but as far ultimately,
the
I
object
think that the woman, it's this is her right, not mine.
the object of them having an abortion is not what I was referring to. What I was referring to was the object of, do they have the right to make that choice? And they said, I don't have the right to voice my opinion on that. And I think that's bullshit.
Mm,
Should they have the
I think
right?
we should be invited to the conversation, but I think
I
the
agree.
decision is not ultimately mine to make.
No, right. See,
But
I think
yeah,
we
I
should.
see that point.
I think they should have the right to do whatever they choose is best for them.
Mhm.
And that's my right to have that opinion.
Sure.
Sammy,
But
you're
a
muted.
bunch of old white men making a decision on this is stupid.
Hold on. I'll
You
see if
know.
I can fix that. Your mic isn't connected. Looks like women don't have a right to say anything here either. Just kidding. I'm
Ooh,
kidding.
too soon, too soon.
I can't hear you. Let me try it again. Oh, wait. Nope. I can't hear you. So here's what I
There we
was
go.
thinking. Oh yeah, now I can hear you. See, I believe that we have the right as humans to give them the right to make their own choice.
But even
I
think about what you're saying now. We're giving them permission for something they should already have.
But they
It's just an
didn't.
absurd
But
conversation anyway. I
you're
know what
right,
you're
but they
saying, but
didn't have it. So somebody has to do something. You know, if slaves didn't have the right to vote, but now they do. Women didn't have the right to vote, but now they do. You know, interracial couples didn't have the right to marry, but now they do. Why? Because we got together and said they deserve those rights. And now we need to come together and say
and
women
same sex.
deserve those rights.
That's on the chopping block as well.
Well, yeah, that's
You know,
my other concern is the way they worded it. That leaves everything up
it
for.
does because they're going to set a precedent. Because they're attacking the Constitution for a word that's not there. Well, there's a lot of other words that aren't there either. You know, privacy again is one of them. You know, where does it say we have the right to privacy? It doesn't. It was a decision that was made. And same with Roe v. Wade. It was a decision that was made on our rights. You know,
Now,
and if they
I've
could
heard
take one
some
away for
arguments.
this reason, they could take all the other ones away for similar reasons. They don't have to stop there.
I've heard some arguments that Roe v. Wade shouldn't have been decided because she lied about, her situation. Doesn't matter whether she lied or told the truth, because the fact is they decided not on just her, but on what was best for the entire country, and what rights people should
Right,
have,
exactly.
not just her. Whether it happened or not isn't the issue. What is the issue is, did she have the right to go the course that she did?
Each individual has to make that decision with themselves. I mean, not everybody believes in religious things. A lot of people are
Well,
atheists. They don't have that hanging over their head as far as that goes. But
see,
still, a woman has to face that decision herself. I think that she's got enough pressure without having now to maybe go in a friggin' back alley like the good old days. You know, that's stupid.
well, me and you could sit here and argue about this all day or discuss this all day, but it's probably best if we get a woman's point of view.
Yeah, man. Say, I'm waiting. I'm looking for a little hint. Can't hear you.
No, Sammy, I can't hear you. It doesn't say that it's not working. It just says I just can't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear anything either.
Believe me, people, this is not on purpose. We're not trying to stop women from talking.
Yeah, because I could hear her a second ago.
No, I heard you a minute ago. Now you're nothing.
The
It's that
joys of
great.
live.
It's that great Chinese equipment. Oh,
No, that's probably a good idea to reboot herself and go back in.
Um, yeah, I'll wait for her to get back to give you
Yeah, no,
my
I'm really curious to
my
any
personal
other input.
experience
Absolutely.
too. Oh, there she is. Let's see.
Better?
Oh, hey,
Arrow.
Oh no, now you guys
There you
sound like
go.
it's wrong on my end, but that's all right.
what's the matter?
It's like sped up now. You sound like Mickey Mouse.
Oh crap. Okay.
But I can hear you fine. You don't sound like Mickey Mouse or Minnie for that matter.
Do we sound like Mickey?
On my end, you sound really like Mickey Mouse.
It's
It's
the
very
helium.
You might want to try and come back again. There you go. Yeah, because PJ said I sounded like Darth Vader the other day to him. He's like, "Woo, woo, woo." I was like,
That's
no,
cool.
that's.
I'm your father.
It's
Can
still
you hear me?
messed up. All right, I'll live with it.
Okay. So, what's your
All right.
opinion, Sammy?
My opinion is that I feel it really should be a decision between a woman and her doctor. It's, this is a medical thing. It's not like, I'm just deciding if I want to like be mean or commit a crime. There's health reasons, there's all sorts of circumstances on why a woman might consider it. Now, personally, I think it's horrible and I can't believe anybody would do it, but that's just me. In general, I think everybody should, women should have a decision in their body and their life.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now let me give you a personal experience that Sam you're semi familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I we'll say hypothetically just to keep those people involved anonymous. I was let's say hypothetically I was dating someone and living with them, and they ended up getting pregnant. Now, because we were both Italian and we both have a gene in our system that can cause defects uh, due to thalassemia anemia,
Oh, wow.
and they told her that the chances of the child having it were 50-50 before everything was tested.
Right.
And she decided that maybe she should get an abortion rather than take the risk of the child coming out deformed or disabled. Now, she had decided that. And she came to me and told me her decision. And I sat down there. She knows my position on abortion. I don't give a shit who has it. It's your business. It's also my right to choose whether I want to be with someone who does that or not. Now, I didn't give her an ultimatum. I did not give her an ultimatum. I expressed to her the possibility of her making that decision based on her fear and then her fear turning out to be wrong and, the consequences of that. She decided not to get the abortion and the baby turned out healthy and happy.
And that brings up
Now,
another factor of I think both parents really should have input.
right.
But at the end of the day, it's kind of,
Right. No, I left this decision totally up to her. I gave her my opinion and my side, my view of things, and said, "This is how I see it. Are you willing to take that risk too?"
Right.
And
But that's where the
she,
discussion needs to be, are the ones that involved, or the
right,
ones that they feel involved because they need more information or advice from others. But,
right. Now,
then
can
that
you
becomes
imagine?
decisions that the individuals make. And that's where it needs to be.
But could you
The decision needs to
see?
be back to the people, not the federal government or the state for that matter. It's neither one of
right.
their decisions. It's ours or whatever.
But can you see us being in that same position now, and her wanting to not take the chance and not having the option and having a child
Right.
born with a defect because she was forced to?
Right. That's a whole nother matter too. And that
And
thought process, those emotions and all that goes into the baby during that pregnancy too, all the stress and everything else. So you could, by not having that option, cause other issues with pregnancies now, for some people anyway.
what's sad is what George Carlin said 30 years ago is even more applicable today. He said, if you're pre-birth, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. They don't
Right.
care. They don't care what you do after the baby's born.
Right.
They just want the baby born.
Yeah, and beyond that, yeah. But now you're on welfare. I can't have that either. Yeah, can't help them out. But yeah, it targets the poor. You know, that's what this really does. You know, you have enough money, you can still get what you need. You know, for one. You know,
People
or
are
two,
saying,
you can afford to have those kids, if anything. You know, you can
right.
afford to. Whoops, I should have did this and I didn't. You know, whatever. And so, but you can. Having a child isn't going to kill you. You can afford whatever those expenses are.
But let's look into the other side of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
The government has just come in and said women don't have the right for reproductive choice.
Mm-hmm.
How about now we say all men from puberty to 25 have to be temporarily chemically castrated?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When does masturbation become illegal?
You know,
Seriously. How far are they willing to go with it? I mean, talk about
you know,
Handmaid's Tale. Really?
would
You
they
know? I
would
mean,
they
where are we
would
going?
they decide that men don't have the choice and take away their reproductive rights as well?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is no. And if the answer is no, then we're doing something wrong with what they've decided.
Right. Right.
I've always had that philosophy. If it's not good for everyone, it's not good for anyone.
Right. But in some degree, it's still, it doesn't really matter even those circumstances. It's about the individual. This is an individual choice. You know, it's
This is
more than
actually one
just
of the
that.
concerns I had.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
This is actually one of the concerns I had when they were talking about the COVID vaccine. Is it going to be mandated? Is it, people having to take it, not having, having the choice to say, I don't want it.
Right, but
Because
think about it. That
what about
decision
all these
affects
other
those around
aspects?
you, though. That decision affects everyone around you if you don't take it. If you're sick, you get other people sick. So that becomes a
But I
selfish decision.
still think that any kind
What
of
about
health
polio?
care, you should have a right to
Mhm.
refuse treatment.
Right, but you have children? Are they in school?
I
Sammy?
have 2 teenagers right now.
Okay, so when you had to enroll them in school, you had to give them shots in order to go into school, right? There were mandatory
I did
shots you had
choose
to
for
have.
those vaccines. I chose for
Okay.
most of the vaccines. I am not an
I don't know if you
anti-vaxxer,
didn't.
but I am
I don't think you had a choice in that. I think those are mandatory. That's just last I
No,
knew
you
because
do.
there were things
Actually,
I
you
had to have.
absolutely do.
But anyway, this is the same thing. Why is this any different?
Matt, let her answer.
Well, no, I'm just trying to finish the rest of my thought, and then you can answer all you want. But
No, fine. He can
go
finish
for
his
it.
thought. I can. Go ahead. So, you can actually decline vaccinating your child. I know people who have done it. I think it's crazy. I was against taking a highly experimental, forcing my kids to take a highly experimental vaccine was my issue.
Yeah, I gave it some time myself. I waited a couple of months, and this is something that my dad is. He did this for a living. He worked for a pharmaceutical company, research and whatnot. So I suppose I had a little better of a way he was able to explain this new technology to me, which made sense once I do that. But yeah, no, I agree with that, and I even don't doubt that why people should wait to see, what happens with the results. I get that too.
My problem is
But
everyone
it made
says
me
it's
nervous for
But the
the
experimental.
two are
president.
apples and oranges. When you have an abortion, it affects you, maybe your mate, your whoever you're with, but that's it. It doesn't really affect anyone else. Not taking a vaccination affects everybody, the millions. That's how it spreads around the world because people aren't wearing masks that keep it from spreading to other people. Those are, in my opinion, apples and oranges because of how they affect one another. An abortion
Yeah,
doesn't
I see
affect
that
anyone
too.
else. You can do one or not. It doesn't matter to me. You can marry a gay person. How does that affect me? It doesn't at all.
Go ahead, Sam. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said, go ahead. I know you had something to say.
No, that was it.
With the vaccinations, I have a twisted and warped view of them. I think that adults should be given the choice. Children under the age of reason should not. I don't. An adult choosing for a child, I don't think is right. A parent, because they're using their own biases, and I think that anyone under the age of reason should be mandated to have the vaccine. Now,
Probably
I've
because
heard
they're
both.
so closely interacting with each other and they super spread it every day. Yeah.
Oh, not only that, but like I said, parents have their own opinion. You know, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. This is
It's a
experimental.
tough one, man. That's tough.
You know,
I don't know.
and that's their opinion, and that's their right to have their opinion. But when it comes to children, they don't have. I mean, they have the right, but they shouldn't have the position. They shouldn't be in the position to be able to dictate health decisions that affect the populace with their children. What I mean by that is,
Mm,
I've heard several sides of the argument, which was, it's experimental. You know, it's only emergency approved. Once it's FDA approved, then it'd be different. Then it gets FDA approved, then they say, "Oh, it got approved way too fast. There's something wrong here. We have to
right.
wait and see. Let more tests come out." Then more tests come out, and they go, "No, no, you know, because
Well,
because it came from the Democrats, we can't take it."
when it really didn't, but hey, just saying.
You know, and it's one thing after another, unreasonable to some extent. I mean, the emergency thing I could kind of understand, but once it was FDA approved and it's worldwide, it's just not the United States. This vaccine is being used worldwide. To turn around and say there's something wrong with it, so we're not going to use it while the rest of the world does, it's kind of ignorant. That's my opinion. But this whole thing about the Supreme Court being able to choose to decide on what rights you have with your own body is ludicrous. How about this? Excuse me. How about the fact that nowhere in the Constitution are tattoos mentioned?
Right.
So now we're going to outlaw all tattoos because the ink could cause issues. And my religion doesn't think that you should scar up your body like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
there's no. I hate to say it,
so
but there's
So
no
now
limit to
we're
how
going to stop.
ridiculous
Yeah.
they
So
can
now
get.
we're going to stop people from getting tattoos.
I suppose.
Okay. What right do we have? What right do they have to tell anyone what to do with their own body?
Hmm.
You know, it's a bunch of old. And when I say old, I mean they take off their glasses and dust falls off their eyelids. Old. Old white men deciding what's good for all women.
And they're even going to go a step further soon. They ain't stopping here. This is just if they can make this, if this sticks, this was the big deal. This was the cherry on the top. They went there first, you
Now,
know. And if this stands through the November midterm, and they take over, forget it. It's game over. It's done.
but if they don't take over, hear me out.
It says a lot.
Hear me out. Biden has come out and said he is willing to take the steps to make Roe v. Wade law.
That link I sent you today, that's what that was about.
Yeah.
They took it up in the Senate. It's already in the Senate.
Right. And Klobuchar said we have all the Democrats and maybe 2 Republicans to push it through. If we could get rid of
Collins,
if we could get rid of the filibuster, then
oh, it's codified law. He'll be fine. He won't do it.
Then it'll go through.
Yeah.
You know, no. Klobuchar said that she's, they're ready.
Mm-hmm. But they're going to need, if they don't get rid of the filibuster, they're going to need 60 votes. They don't have 60 votes.
No, they got 52.
The point is they want They want every senator on record on how they stand before the midterms. So when the midterms come, they can say, hey, look, all these assholes voted against this. And that's what they're going to try and use. That's pretty much what they were saying about an hour and a half ago.
Well, like my question is, if Biden goes through with it and somehow pulls it off, does this supersede the Supreme Court's decision, or is it still not applicable because they said it's unconstitutional now?
No, I would think of this as like a backdoor loophole into that, because Roe v. Wade is based on Roe v. Wade. That was a decision based on that. And it was never turned into law. It was just a decision, a court decision that you were able to use in defense against something else, to whatever. But now they can actually make it a law of its own. And it would be a little bit tougher to get rid of that through the Supreme Court.
Now,
So
their decision,
putting it into law is the better way to go. They should have done that day one.
their decision to overturn it, does that make abortion illegal?
Some states have triggers that the moment that the Supreme Court decides, it is immediately into law, and some of these laws would make it illegal immediately. So if you had an appointment in an hour and this became law, you would not be able to do that appointment. Or some cases where, hang on one sec, someone I know is using a particular type of birth control device, and that would become illegal instantly for her.
Plan B?
Yeah. No, it's just another. It's a surgical implant, but it's the way it affects the egg. Like the pill affects an egg another way, and this device, that the egg is actually there, and then it just basically dislodges that and allows it to fall out through a cycle. That's how it works. But that would be considered abortion, technically, because that egg has had a chance to, be
Now
viable.
I'm gonna put up a scenario, and I want both your opinions on this. Let's say you have a daughter. I don't know if you do or not, Matt.
Go.
Let's say you have a daughter, and she's a little slow, socially, educationally, whatever. And she thinks that she falls in love with a boy and ends up getting pregnant at 15, 16 years old. Now, she doesn't find out till 7 weeks. But the law in quite a few of those southern states say anything past 6 weeks and you have to keep it. What choice is that going to leave, and what kind of life is that going to leave for the child, the daughter, the grandparents, and what options do they have? I mean, are we looking at you can go to another state, or are we looking at it's illegal all over and you have to grab a coat hanger?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be back to those days. I mean, especially when you get the kids, I'm sure Sammy could probably shine more light on that than I could on what a woman would think. Go for it.
It hits home for me because I do have a daughter, and she is a little she has high functioning autism, so she's a little developmentally behind her peers, and that is a concern because she's 17, so she's got a boyfriend and all that. That's a really tough position to be in, and to not have, to have limited options.
Right, but have you educated her properly on birth control and things like that? Have you offered her, hey, I'll take you to a doctor or whatever if you need? Okay, no, that's good. You've had the conversation. Some people are afraid of it. It's like, man, you need to grow up, be adult, talk to your children.
With that, and my daughter and I are very open.
Yeah, you don't know, Sam.
Perfect, yeah.
You don't know, Sam. Yeah. She's not afraid of much.
No, it's good. You need to be that way. It's just, I mean, that way they're not afraid of it. It doesn't become dirty. It becomes, it's a life. It's okay. It's a natural
That's
thing.
what it is. It's just a normal thing.
Sure, absolutely.
But I know that I don't know if she'd be able to go through the whole process of growing a fetus, giving birth to a child. It'd be terrifying for her. and she
That.
would not mentally understand it all. So that might be a consideration. And like I said, I am very against abortion in my own personal life, but in a position like that, it would probably be a consideration.
Right,
But
right.
I don't know. You know?
I mean, you'd have to take into consideration, is it better for her to get an abortion early, or is it better for her to carry this child all the way through and then give it up for adoption? Which would more be emotional on her? But that's an individual decision.
Well, but
That's an
also, wait a minute
individual
though.
situation.
But at the point where you're at the discussion, I mean, that's a time where, at least in my opinion, I would be already, if she already has a boyfriend, maybe the three of you, or even his parent, whatever the case may be, and that get together or maybe go to the doctor and get a prescription, show them all how to use or give them options and see whatever they think. But at least this way, if and when they ever even decide, who knows, that might be the furthest thing from their mind right now. But still, at least this way, they can be like, hey, when they do want to experiment, because it's going to happen, or at least the curiosity is going to be there, they're prepared. And they've got options available to them where they're like, oh shit, I don't have anything. Screw it. Well, I'll just, whatever.
All right, I'm talking out of school because I do have a daughter, but I never had that problem because my daughter will, it's like a vampire seeing her cross. She sees a penis, she goes running the other way. She's very happily married to her wife. They have a beautiful son. And I never had to have that discussion with my daughter. Now my kids, one of my sons came to me when he was 16 years old and said, Dad, I think I got somebody pregnant. What do I do? And I was like, well, here's your options, And he was in tears. This is going to ruin my life. I don't know what to tell you, kid. You did what you did. But when it comes to the female perspective, I've never been, other than the girl that I was dating that had the option, I've never been involved in that decision making or in that conversation.
I've been in that conversation
once. I mean, I was in it that once with my girlfriend.
I'm happy with the outcome. But
that was it. Now, the question, and it's posed on the banner on the bottom. If this, if what was leaked is what actually comes to fruition, have they just destroyed America? Human rights in America? Is this the beginning of the end to human freedoms in America?
I'd have to say yes. Yeah,
they won't stop
here. Yeah. It will not stop here.
And how do we stop it though?
Vote.
But here's the problem I have. Here's the problem I have. When I saw this news last night, because I got in touch with you right away, I was so disgusted that I wanted nothing to do with anything. And I'm worried that now a lot of women are going to go, fuck it. What difference does it make if our voice isn't being heard? Why should we bother?
If my wife is any example of how women are going to react, no, this could be the start of something. This could be a catalyst of something much bigger than what anybody would want. And yeah, I wouldn't want to piss off 100 million women, to be honest with you. Probably not a very good thing. So, yeah, because that's pretty much half the country is what they've just said, fuck you to, your rights don't matter to me anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I think women are going to be most pissed off, and I will very much be on their side because I don't want to.
I'm on their side. I'm on their side. I'm just worried that
they'll pull heads off.
I'm just worried that they're going to see it as have that defeatist attitude of we've been rallying for this for 50 years and we get nothing. No one has heard our voice. No one has heard our choice. Why should we bother voting?
I don't see women as laying down on this subject, no pun intended. I really, really don't. I think this could be another part B to the women's rights movement where they all rose up and, said, fuck this. It needs to happen again.
It's time for us to
needs to happen again. Do a little bit more than
that. I vote for that.
Yeah, right. I support you.
You can all come to my house and I'll put a barrel out front.
Nah, All jokes aside, though, I think that this is something like awaking a sleeping giant, so to speak. Yeah.
Now, could this bleed into
Hmm?
uh, the employment situations where women, there's a wage disparity already, but now they don't have the right to make this choice. What other choices can they? Are we going to go back another 50 years on that too, so that now all women are only secretaries
I think
and
women are sick and fucking tired of the bullshit, and I think there's going to come a point where it's the last straw. Period.
Is
What
there
do you
a
think, Sammy?
way? Is there a way for the Supreme Court justices to be removed?
Impeachment. Yes, sir.
Now, my question is, would that be the best course of action, or stacking the Supreme Court and bringing it up again?
Probably the latter is what's going to happen. I think it would be next to impossible to impeach a sitting Supreme Court justice. I don't think it's ever happened.
Sam,
What?
knowing what's about to happen,
Mhm.
do you have any fears or concerns about other aspects of your life being affected by these type of decisions?
Uh, well, yeah. Anything this major. I mean, like you said, this is a precedent for what's next. Something's coming up. I'm not creative enough or probably smart enough to come to figure out what I should be worried about, but it is very concerning. Because it just sounds like the government just wants to control everything in everybody's aspects, so we have no decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, and what irritates me the most, like I said, is it's being made by the decisions being made by a bunch of old white men and one Bible thumping woman who has never sat on a
who's run by her husband.
She's never sat
Mm-hmm. She said that before
as a judge before. Mm-hmm. She's never presided over a case. She's never,
never.
And somehow her and all the old white guys in the Supreme Court are making these decisions. And I don't think, if they're not making the decision, they're not making the decision based on anything other than their religious beliefs. We all know this. They could say it's not in the Constitution, but there's a lot of shit not in the Constitution that they've ruled is constitutional.
Separation of church and state's in there, though.
Yeah, which is probably going to go away soon too.
Mm-hmm. They have their way.
What's next?
All religions are good as long as Christians on top.
What's next? They're going to be knocking on your door saying, "Okay, you have to go to church. It's Sunday. Get out there, or you're under arrest."
Oh, I'll probably be burned at a stake soon.
I don't know. I still have envisioned Handmaid's Tale, and that was a wake up call for me because I think that's a Republican's wet dreams. That movie.
I'll send that clip to Sammy later. That ad that you sent me.
Oh, okay.
But I guess what I'm saying is how much do we take before we say enough is enough? I mean, we've seen them ban math books for critical race theory. Really? But yet those books were checked by an individual source and found to contain zero critical race theory.
Yeah, but they depicted things that were, yeah.
That where you didn't like because it made you uncomfortable.
No, they're afraid that people are going to learn the truth Especially what I've learned about Harvard recently, it really surprised me. That's a special, I think you got documentary that's worth watching. Talk about slavery there, which
Oh,
surprised me. But anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of things that they want to whitewash.
Well, like I
Um,
said, my question is, I mean, we've already banned math books for critical race theory.
yeah.
We've already went over after not even political opponents, but people who don't agree with us politically.
Mhm.
We've gone on. We've basically attacked them,
Mhm.
assaulted them. Look at what happened with Disney. You don't agree
Yeah.
with me, so we're going to take away everything we've ever given you.
Which is going to screw the locals.
Right, and
You
they
know.
never take into account
Well, there's a billion
how this
dollar
is going to
bond that's
affect.
due, and that
They never
goes to the
take into
taxpayers.
account that how
Mhm.
this is going to affect the American people. They
Right.
only take into account how it's going to affect them
No, they
personally
got
when
butt
they make
hurt,
those
and that's
decisions.
why they retaliated against Disney. That was a knee jerk reaction. They didn't. They said they had a plan. They've got no plan, nothing. They have nothing going forward to fix this and get it back to where it needs to be. That's a big process. They got. I used to live down there. My wife worked for Disney for like 20 years.
They
I
have the
mean, there's
same.
so
They have
much
the same
entanglements.
plan. They have the same plan as the Cheeto and Chief had for the health. The health insurance,
Sure.
where he kept saying, "I got a plan coming out. It'll be out in 2 months. I
Oh,
got a
right.
plan
Yeah,
coming out."
that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have no plan.
Yeah.
And they're following his suit. Yeah, we got a plan. Just wait, bear with us. We'll show you.
Mhm.
It's in the meantime, all the experts are saying it's going to raise your taxes, your property taxes by 25%, and they're going, no, we got a plan. That won't happen. What's the plan? Well, we can't tell you. We're going to ban these books. Well, why? Well, we can't tell you. We can't tell you which books have what. We can't tell you what. They asked him for just give us one specific example, and he said, "Yeah, that's not up to me. You got to talk to somebody else."
Well, you get rid of the math books. That way nobody can math or add up stuff when it comes time to count the votes.
Yeah,
These numbers will just be too big and they won't, yeah,
I'm
they
just
won't be
I'm
able to
just
comprehend
worried
them.
that it's not just this is not just going to affect women. This is now going to bleed over into all aspects. Interracial marriages.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep, it will.
People of color and their rights. LGBTQ and their rights. And it's all going to start to fade. And until it affects you, you won't care. Once it affects you, then you'll go, hey, why didn't we stop this when we had the chance? And I think that's what the problem is, and that's the way that this might go. And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, but the haves are the ones that don't really, this doesn't affect them. It's the have nots, the ones that are going to suffer from it all.
What does
And
a
that is
white
growing, and that's a larger number than it used to be.
what does a
You know,
white Christian male or female care if LGBT rights are taken away? What do they care if
or
abortion
enacted.
rights are taken away? What do they care if interracial couples are taken? They don't care. They're following their religious beliefs. And until someone comes and says now you can't practice religion, and then they go wait, you we need to stop this, and it's already too late. You don't have the opportunity now. And that's what I'm worried about is that this is turning into something that no one ever saw possible or thought possible at this point. The thought was we were way past that point, and
Right.
we're not.
We've evolved further than that. Yeah. This is an enormous step backwards in our society. And with all the things we have to face right now, it just makes everything that much worse. It really, really does. This affects so much. Our disparities that we're facing right now is just if we don't deal with these,
So Sam, the
our
next step
children
is
are going to have a future we're going to witness disappear.
they're going to tell all wives they have to stay home, take care of the kids, clean the house,
Barefoot
and
and
when their
pregnant.
husband
Yeah.
comes home
yes.
from work, when the husband comes home from work, they have to be standing there with a drink for him and make sure dinner's on the table on time, or there's
My
going to be
husband already
trouble.
tells me that.
But yeah, I
I don't know. I like an educated wife. I don't know what your situation, your level is, but it's kind of nice, having that. there's something I don't understand, I got somebody else who can help me understand something, and vice versa. I like that collaboration.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of being greeted at the door with a drink, but that's just me.
From time to time, that does happen. Absolutely, both ways though.
Oh hell
Both
no,
ways.
no! I'm working too hard for that.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Leaving away.
There it is. What is that? Is that 15? Is your 15 a day,
Yep.
curls?
I actually think that is my 8th cup today.
8 cups of coffee already?
I wake up early.
No wonder your heart's like blowing out of your chest.
Matter of fact, I ran out of K-Cups. I have to order some more today to be delivered, or else I'm not going to have any coffee.
K-Cups? Are you kidding me using K-Cups? Why are you using K-Cups?
Because it's easier for me. All right, let me explain this to you.
No.
Use a regular pot of coffee. Wait, use a regular pot of coffee. And then it sits there after. K-Cups. Oh, yeah, I have one of those too, but.
Okay. You don't throw these away.
No, I have one of those too. I use it every once in a while when I run out of K-Cups.
Yeah, but K-Cups where these go in a landfill. 3 seconds of coffee in a landfill.
I brew my coffee with the percolator like my grandmother did.
I want to get one of those.
I
want to get one of those. But when it comes to what you said about, K-Cups, they ruin the environment.
Yeah.
I've been told that every day for the last year from a friend of mine. And my response
to them is... How many of those damn things have you thrown in the trash?
All of them.
Yeah, no, how many? A few thousand?
Well, let's see. Every month I get 200 K-Cups.
Jeez, dude.
Well, no, I take
Just
that back.
buy a big thing of coffee and fill your own damn thing. You get a fresh cup of coffee every time. Cheaper too, save you some money.
I have one of those.
I bought 4, so that way,
I actually went and bought the bag of the exact K-Cup that I get, so that if I run out, I could just put it in the thing. But I don't I don't trust them. But my point is, she keeps telling me, you're going to destroy the landfills, and my response is, yeah, but I don't live at the landfill, so I don't care.
Oh, you don't, do you? Everybody lives near a landfill. I'm telling you right now. Whether you do or whether you can see it or not, it doesn't matter. You still live.
And I know that that's hypocritical because I'm sitting here going, people are going to say, well, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care right now, and that's going to screw us. But in the same breath, I'm going, yeah, I don't care what they throw in the landfill because I don't live in the landfill until I do.
We only get one Earth.
Exactly. You can't eat money.
But the Earth isn't going anywhere.
The Earth isn't. It is, dude. Do you know that?
No, it's not. We will be going places. Right. But the Earth is going to be here forever.
Spin around whether we're alive or not. But you know what? I mean, think about it. What about all the other things that live on here other than us? We're not the only things alive on this friggin' planet, and we're headed down a path that's going to destroy it all.
I don't know if that's
as we go right now. We will never have another ice age.
That's good, though, right?
No, that's bullshit. That's bad. That's terrible. That is absolutely a bad thing.
Didn't the ice age freeze and kill everything?
No. Every few thousand years, this planet goes through a cycle. It's been a yo-yo cycle forever. That's part of the natural cycle of the planet. No, people survived through that. We lived through an ice age.
Well, then,
you can see it coming. Yeah.
Well, then, pardon my ignorance, because I thought an ice age means that it freezes everything and all life dies.
No.
Like that's how the dinosaurs went.
There's microorganisms and stuff.
Oh yeah, the whole planet doesn't freeze, just the north-south hemisphere.
That's why they're finding not fossils but frozen creatures from a million years ago in some of these thawing ice caps.
Yeah, and that's probably where some of these illnesses are coming from too.
Well, yeah,
a lot of these bacteria and things and live in the permafrost up north, way up north, and all that shit is melting right now at a crazy rate.
So what is the best way to curtail this before it gets out of hand?
Don't take another drop of oil out of the ground again, ever.
No, I mean this whole abortion thing.
Sorry, you went from one subject to another with no transition. Thanks.
Right?
Yeah, I do that. I'm good like that.
whole antecedents thing.
Whiplash.
But,
I got
whatever.
whiplash.
Yeah.
The best way
Nice. I like that, Sammy.
to and I hate to say this, but the best way to save the American populace is what? I'm assuming voting, but
Really all we got. Voting and call your reps and get up their ass. But
you
telling
can
them
call.
what you want. Well, yeah, you can call,
Yeah, but
text,
does that?
email.
No offense, and I'm a cynic, and more cynic than most people. Calling your rep, is it really going to accomplish anything? Aren't they just going to ignore
if you have
that
a few
shit
hundred
anyway?
people that call, probably not. But if you get 10,000, couple 100,000 people calling your phone and blowing up your crashing your phone system, I think that's going to tell you that you might need to start changing your policies.
And the
So,
going
yeah,
out
it
and
can't hurt.
voting idea, isn't that you're gonna? To me, it's only good for Democrats. Republicans won't care one way or the other, and they'll still vote these assholes in.
No, but if we can at least, I say pick the Democrat Party. And the reason why I say that is because, well, they're not going to be, I'm not going to be on fire when they're done with legislation. I'll still be alive at the end of the day. But the point is, if we can get control, major control of this country through the picking our people, let's say it's blue, and then once we get those people in place, we just make it clear, you don't fucking do what we want you to, there's 10 others to replace you. And then we start voting them out that way. And then eventually they'll get the message. But you can't do that, Republicans in charge, because they'll just say, fuck you, I'm in charge. I'm going to do what I want. And I'm in here for 4 or 6 years before you vote me out.
Is
and
there
they can do a
such
lot
a
of
thing?
damage in that amount of time.
Is there such a thing as a central Republican? A center Republican? Someone who is not a leftist or extreme leftist, but someone who is more.
We'll find out in November. Because that's what's going to happen.
If we
November's
can't
going to
find
say a
them,
lot.
if we can't find them, we're screwed.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
And if we're screwed, people think that us saying we're screwed is like hyperbole. No, we're really screwed.
Because it leads into so many other things. Our way of life as we know it, our freedoms as we know it, or will just evaporate. Seriously. That's not hyperbole. You know.
Yeah. Sam, did you want to say something before we end this? She says, nope, I'm good.
I'm not big on the whole I don't understand a lot of the politics stuff, so.
But you
do time like the president. Believe me, I didn't either, and I'm telling you, I'm really glad I did. Well,
but you do know that this is going to affect people on a broader range than just this.
Yeah, everyone. Everyone's
on a broader range than just this.
And I hope everybody, who has a strong opinion about this gets out there and does something to help fight this.
Any last words,
Matt? Even what we're doing here, I hate to say it, but I think this helps too. Because if one person sees this, what we're doing, and they can at least know to look somewhere else to see where they're getting their information from, I'll take it.
Awareness is half the battle, and I wasn't aware of it until you called me.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you all for joining today and putting this out on the table. And hopefully, like you said, at least, one person, if one person sees this and it affects them, they can bring it to other people, and hopefully the word spreads.